Yes, Sairam, Khushi, Nandini, Akshata, Pooja, Tanisha, Odit, everyone. Okay, so this is after your half yearly now, and today we will begin with the fifth chapter, isn't it? Sairam Pranjal. I'll tell a few names whom I would like to read today's chapter. It will be Debang, Khushi, Monica, Netik. Okay, we'll start with these four. Debang, Khushi, Monica, Netik. Do you remember your sequence? And I'm going to put the PDF of the chapter and then we'll do the chapter reading. Okay. Yes, Devang, ready? Devang, are you there? You were visible over there. Can you start beginning from here? You can start the chapter, The Summit Within. What happened? He's not there? Okay, then, okay, he's got some net problem probably. Who is the other name I told after Devang?
Ma'am,
Yes, beta. Devang, are you ready? You're to read the
yes,
chapter?
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Here it is. Start from here.
Ma'am,
Major HPS. Start from here.
Major HPS
Ahluwalia.
Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition of Mount Everest in 1965. How did he feel when they stood on the highest point in the world? Let us hear his story in his words. Climbing the summit and then the difficult task of climbing the summit within.
Hmm.
Of
Listen, when
all,
a full stop comes or a comma comes, you have to pause a little. Okay? तो उसका भी आप ध्यान देना कहाँ फुल स्टॉप आ रहा है कहाँ कमा आ रहा है एंड वॉइस मॉड्यूलेशन पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना यस
all emotion which
सर्ज्ड
surged through me as I stood on the summit of the Everest, looking over miles of phenomena below us.
पैनोरामा
The
दिस इज पैनोरामा बिलो अस
ma'am, screen is blurry.
बेटा स्क्रीन ब्लरी कैसे हो सकता है चलिए आप कोशिश करो और कंटिन्यू देवांग
Yes, ma'am.
कंटिन्यू
Ma'am, screen is blurry.
फिर अभी तक कैसे पढ़ रहे थे
मैम वो अभी
ओके
अभी ब्लर हुआ तो यस मैम नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है
Who is the other person I told after Devang? Khushi. Okay, Khushi, you read from since beginning. From
Yes,
off all the emotions from here.
yes, ma'am. of all the emotion which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of pano-
Panorama.
panorama blew us. The dominates one I think was
Dominant. The
humility.
dominant one.
The dominant one I think was humility. The physical in me seemed to say, "Thank God it's all over." However, instead of beginning jubilant, there was a t- tinge of sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing, and there would be nothing higher to climb, and all roads hereafter would lead down? By
Okay, now this
climbing
word, one second, खुशी, this word is tinge. Tinge होता है हल्का सा एक, जैसे we say ना, just add a tinge of color, मतलब एक हल्का सा, there is the meaning also is written here, trace, shade, मतलब हल्का सा एक, आपको जैसे आप पेंट, जो लोग अच्छी पेंटिंग करते हैं उनको पता होता है कि एक हल्का सा एक वाइट शेड डाल दिया उसपे, एक टिंज सा, बिल्कुल हल्का सा. ओके, यस, कंटिन्यू इट.
By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It's a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. As I took back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exqu-
Exhaustion.
exhaustion had gone, I been asking myself the question why I had climbed Everest. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? It was already a thing of the past, sometimes done yesterdays. With ever passing day, it would become more remote, and then what would remain? Would my memory fade slowly away? All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climbing mountains. It is not easy to answer the question. The simplest answer would be, as others have said, because it is there. It presents great difficulties. Man's main task, delight, is overcoming. Overstandless, the overstandless is climbing a mountain are physically. A climb to a summit,
ऑब्स्टिकल्स, बेटा ये ऑब्स्टिकल्स है, ओवरकमिंग ऑब्स्टिकल्स. ऑब्स्टिकल्स होती है रुकावटें.
yes, a climb to a summit means in
Summit, it is summit.
summit means endurance. Perisentive
Endurance. A climb to a summit means endurance,
and
persistence.
endurance, persistence, and willpower. The domination of these physical qualities is no doubt ex- exhilarating
Exhilarating.
as it was for me also. I have a more personal answer to the question from my childhood. I have been attract my mountains. I had been miserable, lost when away from mountains. In the plants, mountains are nature at its best. Their beauty and Magins pose a great challenge, and like many, I believe that mountains are a means of commune with God. Once having granted this, the question remains why Everest? Because it is highest, the mightiest, and had defied many previous attempts. It takes the last ounce of the one's energy. It is a brutal struggle with rocks and ice. One take up, it cannot be give up half away, even when one's life is at stake. The passage
Stake.
back, it
When one's life is at stake.
stake. The passage back is as difficult as the passage onwards, and then when the summit is climbed, there is an exhilaration, the joy of having done something, the sense of battle fought and the won. There is a feeling of victory and of happiness. Gleaming
Glim-
a peak in the distance, I get transported to another world. I experience a change within myself, which can only called be called mystical by its beauty. Aloofness,
Aloofness. Aloofness.
aloofness might rug,
Ruggedness.
ruggi- ruggedness and the difficulties encouraged on the way. The peak
Encountered.
draws and
Encountered.
encountered on the way. The peak draws me to it as Everest did. It is a challenge that is difficult to
Resist.
resist. Looking back, I find that I have not yet full explained why I climbed Everest. It is like answering a question.
Kushi, looking back, I find that I have not yet fully explained why I climbed Mount Everest. Fully explained. ठीक है ध्यान से पढ़ो हाँ next line you continue.
It is like answering a question. Why you breathe? Why why do you help your neighbors? Why do you want to do good acts? There is no finally answer possibly. And then there is a fact the Everest is not just a physical climb. The man who has been to the mountains to comes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness in this large universe. The physical conquest of mountains is only one part of the achievement. There is more to it than that. It is followed by a sense of fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
There, fulfillment, fulfillment. There is the satisfaction of a deep
Satisfaction.
satisfaction of a deep argue to rise above one's surrounding. It is the eternal love of adventure in man. The experience is not merely physical, it is
Merely. Merely
merely
physical.
merely physical, it is emotionally, it is
Spiritual.
spiritual.
Spiritual. Hmm. Okay, thank you, Kushi. Next, it was good, बेटा. You are trying a lot. दिख रहा है कि आप बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हो. बट और थोड़ा वर्ड्स को ना स्टार्टिंग में पढ़ के आप गेस कर लेते हो आगे क्या है. तो यू जस्ट सी तोड़ तोड़ के वर्ड को पढ़ो तो आ जाएगा आपको. ठीक है? And slowly you will recognize the word quickly then. Okay. Next, whom did I tell after Khushi? Monica. Okay, Monica. And after that, I had told Natik. Natik Bhagya. Okay, Monica, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
One second. Yes. Now you can continue from here. Consider.
Consider a typical climb toward the summit on the last heights. You are sharing a rope with another climber. You
Climber.
climber, you film in. He cuts the steps in the hard ice. Then he blay and you inch your way up. The climb is grim.
The climb.
The climb is grim. You strain every nerve as you take every step. Famous climbers have left records of the
Climber है ये. Climber. Climber.
climbers have left records of the help given by others. They have also recorded how they needed just that help, else they might have given up. Breathing is difficult. You curse yourself for having let yourself in for this. You wonder why you ever undertook the ascent. There are moments when you feel like going back. It would be sheer relief to go down instead of up. But almost at once you snap out of that mood. There is something in you that does not let you give up the struggle, and you go on. Your companion, your companion,
Companion.
companion keeps up with you. Just another 50 feet or 100 maybe. You ask yourself, is there no end? You look at your companion and he look at you. You drawn inspiration from each other and then without first being aware of it, you are at the summit looking round from the summit. You tell yourself that it was worthwhile. Other silvery peaks appear through the clouds. If you are lucky, the sun may be on them. The surrounding peaks look like a jeweler necklace around the neck of your summit. Below, you see vast valleys slopes into
Vast
the
valleys.
distance.
Vast valleys. Valleys.
Valleys slope into the distance. It is an ennobling and reaching experience to just look down from the summit of a mountain. You go down and make your obeisance to whichever god you worship. I left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. Rawat left a picture of goddess Durga.
Goddess Durga. And this
God
is Rawat. Rawat. नाम है ये.
Uhud,
Continue.
Udurji left a relic of the Buddha. Edmond Hillary has buried a cross under a chain, a heap of rocks and stones in the snow. These are not symbols of conquest but of reverence.
Beta, this is contest. Conquest,
Con-
sorry. Conquest. And this is
rev-
reverence. Hmm.
The experience of having climbed to the summit changes you completely. There is another summit. It is within yourself. It is in your own mind. Each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. He must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. It is fearful and unscalable.
Unscalable. Unscalable मतलब जिसको आप नाप नहीं सकते. Scale, see, scale is there in this. Scalable. Unscalable means जो जिसको आप नाप नहीं सकते.
Cannot be climbed by anyone else. You yourself have to do it. The physical act of climbing to the summit of a mountain peak. He must climb it to reach to a
Summit of a mountain outside is akin to the act of
outside.
climbing the mountain. Hmm.
Outside is skin to the act of climbing the mountain within. The effect of both the climbs are the same. Whether the mountain you climb is physical or emotional and spiritual, the climb will certainly change you. It teaches you much about the world and about yourself. I venture do you think that my experience as an Everester has provided me with the inspiration to face life's ordeals resolve,
Resortly.
resolutely. Climbing the mountain was a worthwhile experience. The conquest of the internal summit is equally worthwhile. The internal summit are perhaps higher than Everest. HPS
It's
Agrawal.
written by HPS Aluwalia. This is resolutely. This word is resolutely. And there was one word over here, obeisance. You bow down and make your obeisance to whichever god you worship. मतलब आप एक तरीके से थैंक यू बोलते हो, अपना कृतज्ञ जिसको आप हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, मेक योर obeisance, शो योर ओबीडियंस और सबमिशन. मतलब आप भगवान के सामने सरेंडर कर देते हो. That is the meaning of it. And by now you must have understood. Good, Monica, but you need a lot of practice. ठीक है, आपकी थोड़ी सी आपको पॉलिश करने की जरूरत है. आप you have a tendency of stretching some words. Okay, you have to work on it. And if you see this panorama, view of a wide angle, this word, the people who know how to handle a camera, they know what is a panorama. Can anyone tell me? Nikunj, are you there? Anyone else, in boys or girls, anyone who has a who likes to click photographs? Panorama.
Ma'am, I know.
Hmm?
Yes, ma'am,
What
I have also done it.
must have seen in the phone also.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? So what is the meaning of it?
Ma'am, we can take, ma'am, wide view, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am,
wide view.
photo. Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है. मतलब from a distance ना, और
यस
और थोड़ा extend, हाँ.
मैम दूरी से लेना.
Okay, like it's actually an unbroken view of the whole region.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, इट्स टोटली लाइक आप फोटोग्राफ लेते हो तो एक वाइड लुक लेते हो, पूरा जैसे गोल होके अच्छे से आता है, एक कंप्लीट वन. एंड दैट
Yes,
ऑप्शन इज देयर इन योर फोन व्हेन यू क्लिक अ फोटोग्राफ. So by now you understood what this chapter is about. Summit. What is the meaning of summit? Do you know? Can anyone
ma'am,
tell me?
From
highest
high.
मैम
height.
Yes, it's the highest
ऊंचा.
point.
मैम हाइट.
Huh. So obviously this story, I think it's written quite here it's written Major HPS Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. So obviously this story was written a little later. This is about his experience, about Major HPS Ahluwalia. एक टीम जाती है, ज्यादातर अकेले नहीं जाते लोग, because there is huge, I think it's one of the most dangerous things to do in the world, that is to climb such mountains, such snow peaked mountains. You should always watch great, you have great movies. I will, if someone reminds me, I'll take out a list of movies, and because you have time you can see one or two movies also, and obviously they are English ones. And उसमें देख के इतना डर भी लगता है क्योंकि every step you get scared that अब ये मरने वाले, अब ये मरने वाले. And these things are so unpredictable, the climate over there. क्योंकि आप जमीन पे रह के अपना बचाव कर सकते हो. When you are on the, we are people who are living on the land, you should understand this. Okay, we are people who live on the land, and what we do is, if अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम आ जाती, जैसे यहाँ फ्लड्स आ गए या साइक्लोन आ गया, कुछ आ गया, तो we know how to save ourselves. Okay, we'll go into some shelter and we can go and hide somewhere, and we can take care of ourselves for many days, because there are houses over here, there are many things. Okay, but when you are on a mountain, first of all, the climate over there is so harsh. So harsh means इतनी ठंड होती है, जीरो से भी कहीं माइनस में होता है वहाँ टेम्परेचर, एंड इट्स वेरी हार्श. When you are on the top, आपको पता है कि जितना हम ऊपर जाते हैं एल्टीट्यूड में, वहाँ ठंड बढ़ती जाती जाएगी. मीन्स द टेम्परेचर विल कीप ड्रॉपिंग. इन द मॉर्निंग टाइम्स ओके, इट्स फिर भी थोड़ा टेम्परेचर ठीक होएगा, मगर जैसे जैसे शाम होती है, नाइट होती है, द टेम्परेचर ड्रॉप्स एंड और ठंडा होता जाता है. मीन्स वॉट एवर यू आर कैरिंग विद योर सेल्फ इज ऑल्सो, इट्स गोइंग टू फ्रीज, है ना. खाना पीना सब कुछ सोचो उसका टेम्परेचर कैसे हो जाता है. एंड देन यू हैव टू कैरी दैट इन योर ऑन योर बैक. मतलब आपकी फिटनेस बहुत काउंट करती है. यू हैव टू, यू आर वॉकिंग अप हिल, ऊपर जा रहे हो आप हिल के. सो कितने उनके सोचो मसल्स और उनकी फिटनेस कितना मैटर करती है. देन यू हैव दिस कोल्ड वेव्स गोइंग, मतलब इतनी ठंडी हवाएं चलती हैं. यू हैव दिस बिग गॉगल्स टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स जो ठंडी आई उससे बचाती हैं. चिल्ड्रन हु वॉच डिस्कवरी चैनल एंड ऑल नो इट वेरी वेल, कितना इन लोगों को पेन्स लेने पड़ते हैं. So this is one experience, this chapter, and it is from the view of Major HPS Ahluwalia. Now, Ahluwalia से ही आपको नाम समझ आना चाहिए. Actually, he's a Sardar. Okay, and he's telling about this experience, that is why they move in teams, so that एक दूसरे से support मिलता है. And usually इनके कभी कभी वो रस्सियां भी जुड़ी होती हैं. Anyone who has seen any movie related to it? Any English movie? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Acha. Anyone? Nikunj or Parth, have you all, anyone watched any movie related to it?
No, ma'am.
मैम
Okay.
Alpha.
डिस्कवरी.
Which one, beta?
Ma'am, Alpha.
Alpha.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is, can you just give a brief, what is the movie about?
Ma'am, actually, there was a boy who lost his way, and then he traveled in high mountains with a wolf, and that
Okay.
wolf was Alpha. So,
Okay. Okay, then in that also a lot of experience must be there.
yes, ma'am, his body was covered with full ice.
Okay. And is it an animated movie or a normal movie?
Ma'am, normal movie.
Okay. I'll just check and tell a few movies name also, uh, if possible, on the group. Fine. Great. So this is actually about that experience of Mount Everest. Obviously, you all know that Mount Everest, climbing Mount Everest is a huge achievement, and that was, see, 1965, and now it is 2020. तो आप सोच सकते हो 20 plus how many years back? 25. So it's 50, 45, 45, 55 years back, right? If I'm not wrong, it's 55 years back that this person went on Mount Everest. So that means उस time तो और आपके पास जो facilities थी, and the material which you had all were not of that level which you have now. अब माउंट एवरेस्ट पे जाना इतना मुश्किल नहीं होता. क्यों? क्योंकि you have got the latest and very improved, all your gadgets and all your, like, your ropes are of very good quality, जो कभी टूटेंगी नहीं, and ठंड के हिसाब से भी there you have got clothing is very good. But उस time इतना नहीं था, है ना. जैसे जैसे ऑर्डर्स प्लेस होते रहते हैं, डिमांड होती है मार्केट में, चीज़ें और बेटर होती जाती हैं. हाँ, महंगी तो बहुत होती है ये. There are people who have gone with this dream of climbing the highest mountains but have not made it. क्योंकि वहां जाके कैसे क्लाइमेट चेंज हो जाता है, पलट जाता है, यू कम अक्रॉस एवलांच एंड ऑल, एंड एक एक सेकेंड में सब एवलांच, जैसे वो होता है, एवलांच इज एक्चुअली ऊपर से स्नो एकदम से लिपटती हुई आती है, एंड इट्स लाइक ए, यू कैन कॉल इट लाइक एन स्टॉर्म ऑफ द ऑन द माउंटेन्स, और वो एक ही लपेटे में सबको ले जाती है, इवन ट्रीज, इंसान, और वो उस आइस में दब के मर जाते हैं, बिकॉज इट्स एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड, एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड. गर्मी को तो फिर भी एक बार इंसान झेल ले, बट ठंड को झेलना, दैट टू -डिग्रीज, इट्स इम्पॉसिबल. सो वहां जाके ऑन द टॉप व्हेन यू हैव सच मतलब climatic changes come, it's very very harsh, and it's very difficult for you to save yourself. Once again, I have to take the attendance also. There are only 20 children today. Why so less children coming nowadays? Only 20 are there, or someone has gone? Mean, formidable. Are you asking the meaning of it, Pooja?
Yes, ma'am.
Where, one second. In which paragraph it is there?
Ma'am, it is in third paragraph.
Okay, you're supposed to say it is on third paragraph. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. 76 page number.
76 page number here. In this
Yes,
paragraph? Formidable means actually causing fear. Something जो डर पैदा करता है. I still haven't found the word actually. Yeah, okay, here it is.
Yes, ma'am.
No less formidable and no easier to climb. As I look back at life after climbing Mount Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind. मतलब एक जो आपके दिमाग में चल रहा है कि क्या हम कर पाएंगे कि नहीं कर पाएंगे, उसको सोच के ही जिसको डर लगे, क्योंकि दिमाग पे जीत हासिल करना बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. These people who go and attain certain things in life, जाके ये चढ़ना, ये पहले अपने मन को कंट्रोल करते हैं, क्योंकि उस टाइम आपको लगेगा कि नहीं हो पा रहा, नहीं हो पा रहा, हम थक गए, हम यू गिव अप, लगेगा बस खत्म करो. ऊपर चढ़ने से अच्छा हम रस्सी छोड़ दें और नीचे गिर जाए, मतलब तुमको लगेगा मौत इजी है. इतना इतना डिप्रेसिंग होता है, इट्स वेरी वेरी टफ टू contain yourself and control yourself in such situations. And that is why they move in groups, ताकि एक दूसरे से हिम्मत मिले. Okay, so this whole chapter is about this. We'll just one second, we'll read the summary of this chapter. And next time I'll show you the video also. Yes, Adhisha, can you please read this out? And everyone
Yes,
listen
ma'am.
carefully.
Summary. The summit within begins with the author expressing how he felt as he stood at the summit of Everest. Despite the physical exhaustion, the serene view made him feel multiple emotions, the dominant of which was humility. He believes that a man who has been to the mountains is never the same before. He further talks about climbing the summit of the mind once he had climbed the summit of Everest. As soon as he got rid of his physical exhaustion, his mind started wondering as to why people climb mountains. Most people would simply say because it is there. But the author had a more personal answer to the question. He had always been fascinated by the mountains and would get miserable on being away from them. He mentions how the obstacles in the climbing a mountain are physical. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. He talks about another question that is why Everest? Simply because it's the highest and mightiest. No wonder how
One second. Here it is.
difficult the
No one.
passage no wonder how difficult the passage is upwards. The sense of fulfillment, excitement, joy, and satisfaction while standing on the top of the summit is incomparable. Comparable. The
Mm.
experience is otherworldly. He says that there is no perfect answer to the question as to why he climbed Everest. He compared it to why people breathe. He explains how fellow climbers help each other in fulfilling this conquest. Famous climbers have left
Hmm.
records of help without which they would have given up on the summit. Standing on the summit makes you realize that the struggle was worthwhile. The view motivates you to rise above your current situations. It provides a means for communion with God. On the highest peak, he explains how you bow down and make your submission to the God you worship. The group had left pictures and relics of the gods they believed in. He then continues talking about the author summit, the summit within which is harder to climb, but any climb, regardless of physical or spiritual, holds the capacity to change you completely. He expresses that having successfully climbed the Everest has given him the strength to face life's problems and that climbing a summit, internal or that of a mountain, is a worthwhile experience.
Okay, thank you. Very well read, Peter. Yes. I just remembered one movie's name, which I'm typing over here. It's Vertical Limit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's a very nice movie. And those who haven't watched it, please watch this movie. इसमें बहुत मतलब डर लगता है देख के कि कैसे बचेंगे कि नहीं बचेंगे. It's very harsh also. And like this, many movies are there, but this movie I have watched, so I remember it quite well. And there are many movies. I was searching on the mobile also, and I saw that there's a movie called The Summit also. The movie's name is The Summit. So we'll just check what is it. And there's one movie of Sylvester Stallone. It's Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. ये भी बहुत अच्छी मूवी है. Maybe I've seen this movie. So it's time better. You can watch this movie when you have time. Vertical limit. And that's it for today. Next time we'll do I'll explain the chapter, and then we'll watch a video. And after that, we will do the question answers of this chapter. Okay? So bye for now. Take care. Sai Ram.
ma'am.
Saira ma'am.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.
Saira ma'am.
Sai Ram.